All right, so this video will focus on multiplying positive and negative numbers or integers. So if we look here, I want you to pause the video to start off with and try to solve 1 through 6. All right, so hopefully you had a chance to do that. Here are the various answers. So if we look here, I have 18, we have negative 14, negative 9, 15, 24, and then 16, so negative 16. And again, you could just group these. So like 2 times 9 is 18. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. Negative 3 times, there's 3 of them, right? So negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 4 is 24. And negative 4, how many of them are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. And that's really where our lesson is going today. So our essential question is the product of two integers positive, negative, or 0? And how can you tell? So this is what I was just showing you a moment ago. So we know that repeated addition defines 3 times 2. And that means that 3 times 2, I have 3 groups. So I'm going to say 3 groups. This is really important to know. Of group size 2. That's why I have 3 of these things. See them? 1, 2, 3. And each one of the group size, the size of the group is 2. So I go up 1, 2, 4, and 6. So I could rewrite this as 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's what 3 times 2 means, right? Or 6. So now let's do the exact same thing, but let's now, instead of going from, as you noticed before, I was going to the right because there are positive values. I am now going to go to the left because it's negative values. Again, I have a total of 3 groups, right? But each one of these groups are going negative 2, meaning going to the left. So this is really going to be like negative 2 plus negative 2 plus negative 2. And if I start at 0 and go 2 this way, and then 2 more, and then 2 more, I end up at negative 6. So my answer is negative 6. So now I want you to think this out. And I have my pattern here where I go 2 times 2 is 4. So this is my groups. And this is the size, right? It's always the same size. So, but the number of groups is going down, isn't it? So in this case, I have 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 times 2 is 0. What do you think negative 1 times 2 is, or negative 2 times 2, or negative 3 times 2 is? It appears like it's going down by 2 every time, right? So my guess is this would be going down. So this would be negative 2 here. And negative 2 more would be negative 4. And then negative 2 more is negative 6. So you can see as these are going down or getting smaller, these numbers are also getting smaller. So let's try the same thing, but this time, let's see what this chart says. So my groups are all the same. They're all negative 3. But my size is actually getting smaller too. So I have negative 3 groups of 3 things, and that's how I get negative 9. And then I have negative 6, and then negative 3. So every time, this one seems to be going up by 3. So with that in mind, what do you think negative 3 times 0 is? So 3 more is 0. And then I want to add 3 more. So negative 3 times negative 1 is 3. And then negative 3 times negative 2, I'm going to add another 3 here. So 3 times 3 is 6. So 3 times negative 2 is equal to 6. But why is this happening? So we learned that a negative integer multiplied by a negative integer is positive. So let's make sure that this is true. If I take negative 3 times negative 4, that will equal negative 3 groups of group size negative 4, right? So that would be a positive 12. So now I'd like for you to go through and try to solve these various problems. Notice that some have negatives, some have positives. Go through and just do your best. All right, so hopefully you've gone through and tried to solve them yourself. The answers are, these are both positive, so therefore your answer will be a positive 14. Let's write them out here. So this is 14. Oh, there it is. This one here is 9 times negative 7, so I have one positive and one negative. This would be a negative 63. This is negative times a positive, which is a negative 48. Now I have two negatives, so negative 8 times negative 10, which we saw before. If you have two negative signs there, it's a positive, right? So it's 80. 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. And negative 5 times negative 12 is positive 60. So here's the big idea, the thing that you have to remember. The product of two integers with the same sign is positive. So whether it's two positive things like 2 times 3, that equals a positive 6, or if they're both negative. Negative 2 times negative 3 is also a positive 6. So this is a really important concept. If you multiply two things, and if the signs are the same on both of them, the answer will be positive. Now check this out. The second one says if you multiply two things, but one is a positive and one is a negative, your answer will always be negative. Notice I have 2 times negative 3, I get negative 6, and I have negative 2 times 3, and that also equals negative 6. So these are a really important key idea. So if I take this one, negative 5 times negative 6, notice that they're both negative, right? Well, if I look back at my key idea, if they both have the same sign, it's a positive answer. So I'm going to go back here, and this answer should be positive 30. And it is. They have the same sign. There we go. Now multiply 3 times negative 4. Realize that in both cases here, I have one positive and one negative. Therefore, my answer has got to be a negative answer. So this would be like a negative 12, and this would be a negative 28. So integers don't have the same sign. Product is negative, so negative 12. This one here, same thing. Product is negative. So these both have the same sign, so therefore it will be positive 25. These both have the same sign, same sign, so it's 44. These both have the same sign, so it's 1 times 9, which is 9. These have the same sign, so it'll be a positive 56. This one here, of course, there's one positive, one negative, so what is it, positive or negative? That's right, negative. This one here, positive or negative, what is this going to be? Exactly, negative. This one here, now check this out. I have a negative times a negative, but then I'm going to multiply by 0. And anything multiplied by 0, think about it. This one I have a negative 7, a negative 5. So right there, those two right there should be a positive 35, right? But then I'm going to multiply a positive by a negative, so it'll turn to a negative answer. So here are all the answers. Pause this, make sure you understand how each of these work. Next one is negative 2 to the second power. Well, negative 2 to the second power means this is your base, and this is how many times it's being multiplied. So negative 2 is being multiplied twice, so negative 2 times negative 2. They're both negative, so therefore my answer will be a positive. Negative 5 squared, same thing. So I'm going to have, it'll be 5. You'll notice that, look at the difference here, this is really important. This has a parenthesis around it, therefore the negative 2 in general has been multiplied twice. This one here, the 2 is just touching the 5, not the negative sign. Therefore, it's just the 5 that's being multiplied, and the negative's on the outside. So 5 times 5 is 25. But I have to reapply that negative side here, and that's why it equals negative 25. This one here, the whole thing is being multiplied to the third power. So it's negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. And I get my answer. But this could, let's just do the, let's do a letter D here. And I could do negative 4, oh boy, sorry, to the, so I have negative 4 to the third power. This would be very similar to this one up here. And if I look at it, that would be like negative, that would be 4 times 4 times 4. But then I have to apply the negative sign to it. So I'll get rid of these things here. So what I was trying to show is I have negative 4 to the third. That's the same thing as 4 times 4 times 4. And then there's a negative sign on the outside of it because it's not in parentheses like this one. So these answers will be very different. Where this one is negative 64 here. This would be, well, this is also negative 64. That's just unique. So evaluate this expression. So I have negative 3 to the second power. Again, the whole thing is being multiplied to the second power, so it's negative 3 times negative 3, which is a positive 9. This would be negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. So is this going to be a positive or a negative answer? Think about that. This is negative 7 to the second, positive or negative, think about it. Negative 6 to the third, think about it. Now again, remember, some are in parentheses and some are not. So that does change things. So in this case, this becomes a 9 because it's negative 3 times negative 3. This one becomes a negative 8 because negative 2 times negative 2, which is a positive 4. But then it's by a negative 2 again, which is negative 8. This one here is 7 times 7, which is 49. And then I have to apply the negative sign because it's not in parentheses like these. This too is 6 times 6, which is 36 times 6 more is 216. But then I have to apply that negative sign. So this bar graph shows the number of taxis that a company has in service. The number of taxis decreases by the same amount each year for 4 years. And find the total change in the number of taxis. So I start off here, and this is 50, right? This number here. So if this is 50, and it goes down every year by that much, this is 50 less, 50 less, 50 less, 50 less. So let's just say that this is, I'm not sure what it is, but it's, the change is going to be 50, 100, 150, 200. So it goes down by 200 every single time. So a manatee population decreases by 15 manatees each year for 3 years. Find the total change in manatee population. So again, it's my group is basically 3, right? Because it's 3 years. But it goes down by my group size of negative 15. So it's 3 times negative 15, which equals a negative number, and that would be 45. The thing is, it says write the number negative 4 on the board. Ask students to write each of the following, and then you share your responses. So a multiplication that has negative 4 as one of the factors and has a negative product. So that means that one has to be a negative and another one has to be a positive, right? So if I look here, I'm going to say like negative 4 times 2 because it has a negative product. So, and it's because one's negative and one's a positive. So that'd be negative 8, right? And it says write a second multiplication that has a negative 4 as one of the factors, but a positive product. So again, negative 4 times, I have to do something negative to make it positive, right? So I'll say negative 2. And this negative 4 times negative 2 equals positive 8. And here are some other examples that they have the same exact kind of thing. So, and that is